Hello and welcome to the New Mindset New Woman show. This is a wellbeing series for women in midlife, offering expert insights and practical tools to support holistic wellness. I am Georgina Hickman. I'm a functional medicine practitioner and a BANT registered nutritional therapist. And what I do is I support high achieving women aged 35 plus with hormonal and digestive issues. And really, what I'm trying to achieve is just help them feel like themselves again. And now, today, I'm really excited to have Josephine Blackburn on the show. So, Jo is a mind and body wellness therapist. She has over 35 years' experience as a beauty and holistic therapist. And 7 years ago, she added solution focused hypnotherapy to her treatment repertoire to help her clients through the many concerns that they were presenting to her with. And Jo is based in East Northamptonshire, but she also offers hypnotherapy online over Zoom. So, welcome, Jo. How are you doing
Oh,
today?
oh, welcome. Thank you. Lovely to be here. Yes, I'm very well, thank you today. Hope you are too.
Good, good. Would you be able to start by sharing what first drew you to hypnotherapy and how it became a part of your own healing journey?
Yes, of course. Yes. So, um, many years ago, because my daughter is now 20, I had quite a difficult birth and she needed an operation when she was a few days old. So, no surprising, I had postnatal depression. So after that, I went through various counselling routes, which helped to a certain extent. But then I just lost the confidence, lost that spark, and just needed something else to push me and to enjoy being a mum, basically.
Mhm.
So I went for hypnotherapy, solution focused hypnotherapy, and that really did change my life. I was able to relax and enjoy and play with my daughter, and the mess didn't matter. All these things that we get hung up about, and so yeah, it really did transform how I felt. Much more than other therapies that I'd had previously.
Okay.
So then when I started, carried on with
Mhm.
work and, life and being a mum. And then my marriage was breaking down. And then I started to revisit a bit more with the hypnotherapy from what I'd learnt before from a hypnotherapist, because once you've got the tools, you can revisit and, keep looking back to it. So it's a continuous process. And so I then thought, actually, I'd heard a lot of my beauty clients, beauty and holistic clients, talking about problems that they had. And actually, the hypnotherapy seemed to tick the box for helping them and myself through these difficult times. So, yeah, I then started the training as we were going through divorce. So I do feel I came out the other side a much stronger person because, of living that solution focused hypnotherapy way.
Mm.
And then I've just continued on with my journey, through different techniques and training that I've done since I did my main qualification.
Okay, that's fascinating. I do believe that it's often the case, isn't it, that we come to these services that we offer through our own experiences and
Yeah.
how much they've helped us.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so for people out there who might not be familiar, what exactly is solution focused hypnotherapy? And how does that differ from traditional hypnotherapy or indeed other talking therapies?
Okay, so solution focused hypnotherapy, well, the solution focused brief therapy was devised by Steve DeSaja and Inzu Kimberg. So that was a brief therapy. And then David Newton, who is based in Bristol in the UK, he adopted the solution focused way and incorporated it with the hypnotherapy to create that solution focused hypnotherapy. So
Mm.
really, you're getting the best of both worlds. So with the solution focused, he devised the way of doing the hypnotherapy. So it's very neuroscience based. Yeah, we talk a lot about what is going on in our brain and our body and our, different hormones that we secrete and their effects on our body and our mind. And then, we use other tools and solution focused talkings to allow that subconscious mind to just explore and come up with those positive solutions, so that when we have barriers, we create barriers within our mind. We can deal with those and we can help to move you forward. So the subconscious focuses on the solution. um, Hypnosis is that state of focused attention, and the trance that we go into with the hypnotherapy, that's a deep relaxation. So it embeds everything that we've talked about, and embeds those solutions that you've come up with. We also don't focus on the problem. We like to know what things, or I certainly like to know what has been going on to a certain extent, so because I feel that's important to the therapeutic process.
Mm.
So knowing elements of the past and what we're working with, but then I don't need to know anything else. That's in the consultation stage, and then everything else can just stay in the mind, and it doesn't need talking about necessarily. So that's how it's different, because
Mm.
if you're focusing on it, you're talking about the problem, it's just reliving it all the time. So it's a different
Sure.
approach. Yeah. So it's still a
Okay.
talking therapy, but
Yeah.
a different sort of talking.
Yeah, no, understood. And so just explain to me then, what does a typical session look like? So when someone comes to see you, what could they expect?
Okay, so we offer a free consultation, and that is where we do all that information gathering,
Okay.
so that finding out what their concerns are, and it isn't necessarily what they present with that is the problems, but it's a start. So whatever the concerns are, whatever that is, there's quite often something a little bit like underlying as well. So that's where that bit of medical history and a bit of past history comes into play as well, gives that bigger picture really.
Mm.
And then once we've done the free consultation, and that's about half an hour, 45 minutes, and that can be over Zoom or in person, doesn't really matter. It's just a way of getting that information. Then we can work out which route to take. So whether the client will go down the normal solution focused hypnotherapy route, or maybe fears and phobias might be their focus, in which case that's only 3 sessions for fears and phobias, or going through the butterfly program, which incorporates this wonderful mind reboot. So when we go through the sessions, say it's all neuroscience based. So we
Mm.
talk about the brain, what is going on in our brain, what fills our stress bucket, and understand why we create these behaviors that hold us back, these concerns that we have.
Mm.
During a session, sometimes people do get upset. It is quite emotional. However, I always make sure that the client leaves the session feeling so much better. They're more positive, and they've got that learning and that understanding from what's gone on. So it's a way of, the sessions, we do a lot of techniques, a lot of tools to help with certain things. So, with anxieties, calming those anxieties, also the fears and phobias, we can work through different techniques to keep you calm in the moment, to rationalize what's going on. And these are techniques from NLP or EFT, those sorts of things. So we draw upon solution focused hypnotherapy is drawing upon other tools and other techniques to use alongside the hypnotherapy.
Okay, so that's really useful. So that's stuff that people can take away and do in the moment when they start sort of having these fears or anxieties and things like
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. And these tools, every tool and technique we go through, So that's what you have for life.
Yeah.
So any situation like me, coming back into, a difficult time in my life, I revisited all the techniques and,
Mm.
that you've always got them. So it's a lifelong therapy, really.
Yeah, no, that sounds really helpful. So for anyone who's like curious but maybe unsure about, hypnotherapy and whether it's for them, what sort of myths or misconceptions would you like to clear up?
Okay. Yeah, so it's not wave that magic wand and you'll be cured. And, although smoking cessation can be done in one session, but it's not, it's a long session.
Mm.
So a lot of people think that it is just, oh yes, I'll come and have one session and that'll be fine. I'll be absolutely,
Mm.
cured of everything, but it's not like that. Also, people feel that you're going to be out of control and within my power. Well, obviously, I don't have those magical powers to be able to dictate and rule what people do.
Mm.
In fact, this kind of myth did probably start from Franz Mesmer. So he, before anesthetics were introduced, he had understood that deep power of relaxation, that hypnotic state,
Mm.
and patients used to go into that hypnotic state before they had an operation. And so it allowed the physicians to be able to do their job, to do the operation without the client being in so much pain. So, but then to get the message out about it, he did travel round and, was almost like a stage hypnotist, if you like, and he was
Mm.
branded as a charlatan and all the rest of it. So that probably stems from this myth of,
Mm.
oh, you'll be out of control. Well, you won't. I won't be getting you to, hoover my house while you're here for a session. You are fully in control. You're just nice and relaxed, so your subconscious can focus on those achievable solutions. And
Mm.
it's a bit like a daydream, really. So the hypnosis, it's, yeah, you're nice and relaxed, and people do go into that kind of dreamy state, but then you can come out of it quite quickly and you can carry on the rest of your day. So it's not going to make you feel wiped out for the entire day. So another misconception that people have found is, I have heard somebody say about how they've had hypnotherapy in the past and it didn't work for them because, yeah, the therapist was talking about visualizing things, and they said, I can't visualize things. And that's something that I found myself, that I'm not a visual person, but I do it in a slightly different way. So actually, if you aren't a visual person, you can still have the hypnotherapy. We just work through techniques and wording just slightly different so that you can still go through all the program, all the same things, but in a slightly different way of explaining.
Okay, that makes some sense. So, would you say that hypnotherapy is suitable for everyone then, or are there some people it doesn't work for, or people who it's more effective for?
Okay, so well, I would say, anybody having this knowledge, you
Mm.
can work through um, with most people. I mean, of people who are schizophrenic, no, they
Okay.
would be under the psychiatrist and, having the professional support that way. Although the hypnotherapy is very good for helping people who are, overcoming alcohol addiction or drug addiction, they shouldn't turn up to session, under the influence. So
Mm.
that's another thing. So under the influence, no. But hypnotherapy can help so many other things. Any anxious state, people who are perhaps in really low mood, poor sleep, past
Mm.
traumas and PTSD, it does work well for that as well. And as I've mentioned, the fears and phobias too. So really, it does tick the box for an awful lot of therapies. So in a way, if people aren't sure, they can get in touch and we can talk it through. And if it isn't the right therapy, then we can recommend other therapies to perhaps try.
Mm. Well, would you say you have to be kind of like open to it for it to work, or you know, like do people come and like shut down their mind and then it doesn't work for them?
Well, yes. Well, interestingly, yes. If I found previously, if perhaps parent has paid for the sessions
Mm,
and the you know teenager doesn't really want the sessions, then they'll put those barriers up. So if somebody really doesn't want to do the sessions,
mm,
then I always ask them, how determined are you to continue this journey? Um, but if they really don't want it, they
mm.
will put up the barriers, and then they won't get the help, but they wouldn't get the help with any therapy either,
Yeah,
to a
agreed. I mean,
certain extent.
I have the same thing. I've experienced the same thing, let's say, you know, and I always check, is this something that the client wants to do, or is it somebody else persuading them to do it? Because
Yes.
you do need that buy-in and you do need that, you know, the client to want to do the changes and the work, don't you?
Absolutely, absolutely, because it isn't, as I mentioned before, it's not that magic wand. I don't
Mm,
make them do anything. It's got to come from them. They've got to want to make that change, like you say.
yeah,
So,
great.
yeah.
Okay, so as you know, I work with a lot of mi women in midlife, and common things that they'll be experiencing are things you've mentioned already, actually, things like anxiety and poor sleep,
Yeah.
emotional ups and downs due to the hormonal changes. And could you just explain for our listeners, like how can hypnotherapy help with those challenges?
Okay, so obviously we can't change your hormones.
Yeah.
That's where diet and support from the likes of you will come into play.
Mhm.
So helping you to understand your mindset, giving you those tools to be able to work through when you're feeling anxious, and having different things that you can use. As we know, restful sleep, anxious states, all these things hypnotherapy can work well for anyway. Also, weight management.
Mm.
We're hearing a lot of people who gain weight, and it again, the more you focus on it, the sort of worse it gets in a way. So by having a better mindset and perhaps
Mm.
clearing those barriers that you've had that are driving forces for comfort eating or choosing the wrong foods, then the hypnotherapy can help support their journey through nutritional changes,
Mm.
and lifestyle changes, because it keeps that motivation and keeps that accountability as well for themselves. Also, the GLP-1s, the Ozempic,
Mm.
Monjaro. A lot of people are on those jabs at the moment.
Yeah.
And again, having that knowledge and that understanding about what they actually do, and how the hypnotherapy again can help support you through that journey of being on those jabs. So yeah, a lot of support there really. Again, to normalize in a way of what we're going through in that time of our life,
Yeah.
and offering that support and those tools and techniques so that they can, become, calmer in the situations and understand what's going on in their body too.
Okay. And just going back briefly to what you were saying about the Manjaro and things, because I think people will genuinely be interested in that. The kind of support that you can offer people going through that journey, is that to help them reset the way they think about food during, well, whilst they're on the injections, so that when they come off them, they no longer have the same sort of drivers. They're not
Yeah,
going to be, yeah. Is that
yeah.
how it works?
Yeah, I've written a blog about it because I did
Okay.
a training, I did a CPD on understanding about the jabs, because we suddenly have seen a lot more people who
Yeah,
are
we
on
do.
them, and you're hearing
Mm,
about it. but then a lot of people aren't changing the way that they eat
Yes.
or exercise while they're on the jabs. So actually when you come off it, and also having that understanding about what happens if you're on them long term.
Mm.
So all of this knowledge that I can support them with, and so that actually when they do come off the jabs, then yeah, they are into more healthy eating, and these changes have taken place and embedded in. So yeah, if anyone's interested, then do have a look at my blog page on the website, because I have written a blog about it.
I think I will read that. And I do think it's really important that people understand, or get the concepts, and then they change their behavior as well
Yeah,
as going on these injections, like you say. So I think
yeah,
that could be really helpful.
yeah.
So you describe yourself as a mind and body wellness therapist. So why is it important for you to support both the inner and the outer aspects of our well-being?
Okay, so with mind and body, I've been working with the mind and body anyway for over 35 years,
Yeah.
because with beauty therapy and holistic therapies, it really does help the whole being, your whole
Mm.
body. So, with the hands-on therapies, the massage, you're increasing your blood flow, your lymphatic drainage, so it boosts your immune system. It also reduces that mental and physical stress. I know one of my clients, even with a pedicure, and having a pedicure for many years, she said once, because I still don't know what I'm doing. Which leg am I supposed to put up? And to me, you think they know it because I do the routine, but no, the mind just switches off when they walk through the door, and
Mm.
it's a way of just giving themselves that mental break.
Yeah.
So, with the mind and body, as I say, I've been helping clients that way. And also, if you're struggling with your mental health, self-care is one of those things to go. So you think,
Mm.
well, I'm not worthy of, having that time to, or I haven't got time to have any treatments.
True.
And actually, that is the time that you need to have it. And
Mm.
a prime example was myself, because I have a regular massage every month. And, for my well-being as well, and keeping my body, in check. And I'd got my dog was a little bit poorly, and I was running out of time. I'd just run over with work as well, and I was like, oh no, shall I go? I don't know if I can afford to go or not. And I thought no, because I know what it's like if people cancel last minute. And I thought no, I shall go. And actually, it was the best thing I did, because I came out of it. I'd relaxed enough, my mind had switched off enough,
Mm.
so that actually I could deal with the situation with the poorly dog, much clearer. And she was absolutely fine for the time I was out of the house. So it's just these little things we think, oh, I can't do it, but you can, and with the help in the mind as well, with the hypnotherapy, it just encourages and supports that decision as well, so that you do wipe that limiting belief, so that you can just think, no, I am important. Because if you're fit and healthy and mind is working as it should, then
Mm.
you have more to give for other people.
Yeah, I think that's such an important message, and certainly one that I try to get through to my clients where I can. As I said, a lot of the people I work with are quite ambitious or women, and they're probably doing a lot of things. So they might have a full-time job, plus a family, plus they might even be caring for others. And
Yeah,
like you say, they do tend to put themselves right to the back of the line.
yeah,
Whereas you've just described it perfectly. But if you can just make some time for yourself, just little bits through the week or through the day,
yeah,
um, the way you think, the way you approach situations, your behavior in general just becomes so much more effective and more
absolutely.
efficient. So you're actually doing yourself it's not just for you, it's for everything you're doing and everyone you're helping.
Totally, totally. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, so you've got a program called the Butterfly Program, which sounds amazing.
yeah.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about that? And particularly how it helps women to move through transformation and growth?
Okay, so the after I did my solution focused hypnotherapy training, we went through lockdown soon after, so I did a lot more training in that time
Mm.
and gathered a lot more techniques and tools so that I could provide this new therapeutic service. And then one of the training sessions I was on was the NLP techniques and going through a mind reboot. So I went through the mind reboot, even though I felt like I was okay and, I was feeling really positive and, best I'd ever felt, really, mentally and physically. And so, but I still went through the program because it gave me that understanding of how the program worked. And it really did tick the box for me because it cleared those things that are sitting, as I say, in the bottom of the stress bucket. And, it just helped with those, in a way, those things that we can kind of gloss over and think, actually, I don't need to deal with that. But actually, you perhaps do need to deal with these things.
Mm.
So it clears those underlying traumas and past experiences, these negative emotional states as well. We go through that and our limiting belief so that actually, you come out of the program feeling quite different and you've got a different mindset in a way. You behave differently to these negative stresses because when we feel stressed we can get angry and snappy, that sort of thing, or feel quite sad and overwhelmed. And it just helps you to just rebalance, reset, and to move forward. So I created the butterfly program because of the transformation that you go through this mind reboot. But also, again, one of the things that we're kind of taught to say is, encourage people to write a positive of the day. So I actually created a little positive book and, some pens to encourage clients to write the positives of the day. So that's why I changed it to my butterfly program. So you get the same sort of thing as you get with the mind reboot, but a little bit extra. So it's just taking that client through that transformation of where they presented in the first place to where they ended up. And it's a real learning journey. It's so many people get, their anxieties under control, their sleep under control, from past traumas. Because a lot of people will wake up perhaps in the night with certain thoughts churning through their mind. So again, it's all neuroscience based of why that happens. And yeah, so I've had people say that their anxiety has literally left the building. They've been sleeping like a baby since, the word dot, they're just really, their sleep is just, so much better.
Mm.
So, and it's all from, working through these concerns. So it really is that transformation, and that butterfly has always been part of my logo, with my beauty therapy. It's always been part of it, of that transformation of coming for the therapies. And this just enhances it even more so that, that's why I called it the butterfly program.
Okay, great. And that still includes the hypnotherapy elements.
Oh, totally. Yes, it is
Yeah.
all solution focused hypnotherapy based. So that is all underlying through it. It's just all these other techniques. And
Yeah.
yeah, because the mind reboot is very solution focused.
Mhm.
And it's using the hypnotherapy as well. So yes,
Sounds
it's
really good.
yeah, yeah.
And so for anyone who's maybe listening and they're feeling a bit stuck or overwhelmed right now, can you give me one small mindset shift or exercise you could recommend for them, so that they can start feeling calmer and more in control today?
Okay, so I always go through lots of different techniques with my clients in that
Mhm.
first session. And one of them is to breathe, because when we're feeling stressed, we get that shortness of breath and with tightness, and we can't breathe properly. So therefore our body and our mind feels like we're in that stress
Mm.
moment. So then we feel stressed as well. So actually, by remaining calm and to take that deep breath in, so breathing in for perhaps a count of seven, just keeping it nice and quick to seven, just holding for a second and then breathing out for a count of 11. And just do 5 deep breaths so that you're breathing out for longer, because when you do breathe in, you get that little boost of oxygen, which naturally makes your heart pound a little bit and your breathing change
Mm.
slightly. So as you breathe out, you're allowing your brain to just remind yourself that actually you're not in any threat. You can just relax and, be calm.
Mm.
And also, if you go outside as well, that is even better. It doesn't
Mm.
matter if it's raining, if it's cold, just go outside and get a bit of nature. And we go through grounding techniques as well, so that it enhances that way of being. But nature, actually, I wrote a blog about that as well, the
Yeah.
positive effects of nature. And, there's various experiments that have been done that show that it does reduce your cortisol,
Yeah.
which is the stress hormone. It can reduce your blood pressure, your heart rate as well. So my recommendation is take a break, just get away from the desk or whatever you're doing and just get
Mm.
outside. Doesn't matter if it's raining, that has positive benefits too.
Yeah, no, certainly this is something I practice myself a lot. I mean, for me, getting outside into nature is one of the most calming things I can do.
Yeah,
And like you say, there's lots of research out there, isn't there, to show
there
the
is.
positive impact it has on the brain and I suppose, the whole physical state of the body.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just more like our natural environment. We're like coming home to our natural environment, maybe.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean I love being outside. I've got a dog, so it's easy to get out and walk the dog, but even
Mm.
just every morning I go outside, even if it's dark, and you can just hear the birds starting to wake up, and just hearing everything around you, just noticing the changes in the seasons as well. That's
Mm.
what I like, looking at what's going on, because when we're feeling stressed, we can be quite blinkered.
Mm.
And again, I've been in that situation, gone for a dog walk, and I've come back and my head has just been full of what's been, churning through. And actually take no attention to anything else, but to
Mm.
actually stop those thoughts and just appreciate everything around you. It makes such a difference. It really does.
Yeah. Well, I really like the way that you're sort of bringing these two things together. I mean, this is what I picked up anyway. The hypnotherapy plus the real world techniques that you can take out and use in your own time.
Yeah,
Because I think both could be really, really helpful for the mind.
yes.
So for anyone who is, watching this today and feeling ready to make a change, what is the best way to start exploring working with you?
Okay, so having a good read of my website,
Hmm.
Josephine Hypnotherapy, just have a good look through. I've got lots of information. I've written quite a lot of blogs as well, so there's probably something in there for you to look at, and they're all interlinked as well. Follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook, as well as LinkedIn. And then if you feel ready, you got that feel of who I am, and if you'd like to work with me, then and you would like that support to make those changes, then just message over WhatsApp or text message, or drop me an email.
Okay, great. And what we're going to do is we're going to put all your information in the show notes today. So all of that will be at hand for people to access. So, if you're looking for a link to Joe's website, or if you want to just get in touch with her directly, that should all be there for you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
well, thank you ever so much for coming on today. I found this really fascinating. As somebody who didn't know a huge amount about hypnotherapy in the beginning, I feel like I've got a much better idea of
Good.
what you can do and how you can support people. Yeah, no, it's been a fascinating conversation. I hope that a lot of our viewers will find it the same.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me along. And yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you today.
Okay, great. Thank you ever so much, Joe.
Thank